welcome to Ask When, everyone. By the time you guys hear this, it will be Tuesday when this episode goes live. I have a bunch of episodes going live on Tuesday, so you guys can pick your favorite episodes and listen to them throughout the week. I don't care because my podcast only comes out on Tuesdays now, not Tuesdays and Thursdays. It just got too much work. But enough of my programming announcement. I'm going to let Miss Nancy introduce herself and take it away.
Hi, Lynn. Thanks for having me. I'm Nancy Ganzekaufer. I'm a business coach to creative entrepreneurs, such as other online coaches, internet-based entrepreneurs, and I coach interior designers into getting happier and healthier and more focused on growing their business and nailing their sales closing conversations and becoming more profitable.
Now, I understand why you coach the creative entrepreneurs, but I do not get the other side of the spectrum, why you coach interior designers. Were you one at one point and gave it all up, or what?
Well, it's funny you say that because, yes, in my past business, which I closed about 8 months ago, I was an art, framing, and accessory designer for interior designers. So basically what I did was I had a shop-at-home service for interior designers' clients where I would bring 500 pieces of artwork to their home, framing, accessories, and they would do all the shopping at home. We would bring everything in for framing. If it was artwork, we'd bring it back to the home, and we'd install it up on the wall. So for 15 years, I worked with interior designers as a niche market within interior design.
Well, I applaud the interior designers in my life. I have a family member who is an interior designer, and I wish I still had her in my life. She and I are estranged, basically after her baby sister died, aka my mom. She no longer wants to speak to me, but that being said, hopefully she turns her tune around one of these days, and I'm ready to forgive her as to what she did, and I'm ready to forgive and forget.
That's the way you have to be in this life, right? It's just too hard to hold on to it.
It's too hard to hold on to it, and she's been holding a grudge. Ugh. She's been holding this against me for 70 years now. Baby sister died in 2010, and I actually have 18-year-old cousin because of my aunt, my mom's baby sister. 10 years in between them, and probably 11 years or 19 years in between us. So the 18-year-old is the estranged cousin because he wasn't so estranged, but the rest of us all then moved on. So but getting back to my point, interior designers do what they do because they do what they do, and they were lucky to have you. So why did you give up that job, and why did you decide, okay, I'm going to not only coach my old market, so to speak, but add on to my own market?
Well, I closed Expressive Living Art and Framing, which was the name of my other company, because I'm all business. I worked in the corporate world like many people do before I started having children, and then started my own art consulting business, which is what Expressive Living was. And over the years, because of my business savvy and my knowledge of business, I found a lot of the interior designers came to me naturally for advice, which I always gave on how to grow their business and how to become more profitable and what they should charge and how do they find their ideal clients. So I was always giving this advice over the years. And in order to market my old company, I became vice president and then president of the Interior Design Society on Long Island in New York, where I am. And then I became a national board member, which I still am. And now I'm also the president of the virtual chapter. So I've surrounded myself in that market, interior design. So as soon as I hung my shingle as a coach for interior designers, I was so humbled by the fact that so many people came to me and actually wanted to officially coach with me. And then, my attention started getting split. I had 2 employees working on the other company, but I was loving more and more the coaching and realized at 53 years old, I no longer wanted to carry around stuff for a living. I mean, we would carry 500 pieces of artwork and frames and
I know.
mat boards. Oh, I know. It's like it was a lot.
That's what my aunt did, and she still does on the occasions. But those things can break your back. Those things can literally break your back. If you follow an interior designer around for a day, you'll see how much back-breaking work it is, even with a team. With a team. It's not funny.
It's not glamorous work like people think. When we say interior designer, people go, "Oh, how much fun!" They think it's always about the pretty things that you see, but you do a lot of schlepping. So I decided that the coaching was going so well. I was loving it, learning so much, hiring a coach myself to help me learn a lot of the online programs and how to do it well. And happily, 2.5 years in, or 2 years in, I actually closed down the other business, and one of those employees still works for me from home. I have virtual assistants now, and the other employee I was able to secure with another art consultant here in my local area. And then I realized that very few coaches succeed in that shorter period of time. So I wanted to start teaching other coaches what I consider the formula that really turned my business around. From being, oh no, I'm not going to make it. Like I have 1 year's worth of clients and then it's over. And I want to teach the formula of how I turned it around and now consistently have coaching clients coming from me from all different businesses, online businesses as well as interior designers. And I love to teach that. I love to teach what I do differently than some other coaches are teaching. So I still have a really nice following of interior designers, and that's growing every day. Because I do market a lot, which you need to do. And now I also teach, I have coaching clients that are web designers. I've had artists and other coaches from all different coaching industries to show them how I grew my business and have a steady flow coming in all the time.
How cool is that? How cool is that? And I hope
Very cool.
This podcast helps with that. That's my ultimate goal. Even though people said to me, you should become a coach because you have all this knowledge that people don't have, and you're coming at it from the perspective of don't give up on life with cerebral palsy. And so, yes, after I get my degree in fashion journalism, I'm actually going to coaching school, believe it or not. I talked to a coaching school, and they want to help me after I get my degree.
I think that's fabulous because you really, I have a friend who I've been on her podcast 3 times, and it's specific to the interior design industry, and she's now starting to coach as well as having her podcast, because with years of podcasting behind you and learning everything you've learned from other people, plus all the education and life experience that you have, it's actually not as difficult of a transition as you would think.
No. And so, Nancy, what is your favorite book? And I'm going to throw this one in there because I know Interior Design had this one. What is your favorite book? And what is your favorite magazine?
Okay, so let's go with the favorite magazine first. It's definitely Architectural Digest.
I knew you were going to say that.
Looking at it.
I knew you were going to say that.
Although I do like psychology.
Say that. Oh, Town and Country. Yeah. Oh, Town and Country. I knew you were going to say one of those two.
Yeah, I really.
It's the interior designer that inside you, Nancy, that spits that one out.
I know. And then, you know what? There's so many books I love. I just finished reading The Big Leap. I actually listened to it on Audible, so I'm trying to think of who the author was. Was it Gay Henderson, I think? Unbelievable book. Still resonating with me. So many interesting observations about what I see in my clients every day, these feelings, these limits we put on ourselves because of something that's happened possibly in early childhood or later, feeling like we can't get to that next level for fear of something, doing better than a sibling, or not feeling like we can be happy and successful because we might be leaving some people behind in our family who aren't as happy or successful. And so many other really interesting, deep observations to figure out why you possibly self-sabotage yourself. Each individual person has possibly their reasons. And I thought it's really life-changing, The Big Leap. I actually want to listen to it again.
The Big Leap. And I'm sure you guys can find that on Amazon. And Nancy, if you had to be educated by anyone inside or outside your two fields, interior design or coaching, who would it be and why, and what would you ask them?
If I could be coached by anyone outside my field? Okay, I hope this qualifies.
Inside or outside your field?
Okay, inside or outside. So I would love to be trained by, I don't know if you guys have heard of her, Vanessa Van Edwards. She's a body language specialist. She's actually a scientist.
How cool is that?
And she is amazing. Young girl compared to me, young girl, and she has a book called Captivate, The Science of Succeeding with People, and she has a course where you can help train yourself on how to detect if people are lying by looking at their body language, and I am fascinated by body language, which is why, even though it's maybe a detriment to my own time management, I always coach people, if I can, via Zoom, via video, because I want to actually see them and I want them to see me, and I find the coaching sessions are much more effective and I can move them much faster to making more money when I'm coaching them video versus just phone call.
Yeah.
So, it would be her,
okay.
Vanessa Van Edwards.
What would be your best tip for a creative entrepreneur, or just use me as an example, people? What would be your best tip for me as a creative entrepreneur? I am a teacher on the side, but I consider myself a full-time writer. Teaching is just to keep my life interesting. Teaching the young kids is to keep my life interesting, you guys. I don't do teaching to pay the bills. I do teaching just to keep my life interesting. And yes, teaching helps pay the bills, but teachers don't get paid very much. I mean, to be honest with you, when I did my taxes, I looked at my W-2, and it was $2,000 for 1 year. And so teachers don't make that much. Interior designers and coaches make more money than I do, and so do writers That's why I consider myself a full-time writer. So, that being said, what would be your creative tip, Nancy, for me to keep myself in the creative spirit?
My tip would be, and I say this all the time, niche is rich and broad is broke. Creative people have so many talents that they are afraid to niche down to one particular talent that they love and figure out how to make that profitable. And it is possible. So they tend to broad is broke. If you just say, well, I'm a writer, and it's about anything, like I can write about anything. It's like interior designers when they say, well, I can help anybody. You know what? I'm a coach. I can help anyone. But if I don't niche down and actually speak to a specific population, when they're listening to me, they won't relate themselves into my world. So if you're a writer, I pick a specific topic that you can write about really in detail and hone in on that and figure out where your ideal client would be for that content and go after those in your marketing campaign.
Well, my niche is YA novels and urban fantasy novels, more young adult novels than urban fantasy. And my niche is focusing on the disabled gifts within my characters of my books.
That's a great niche. But now you have to figure out where, right? And you would know where those people hang out. Where do they look? What do they read? Where do they shop? And how can you be there to market to them and communicate with them and show your expertise and your style on a regular basis that entices them. Because someone has to be exposed to you 7 to 15 times usually before they will trust you to buy from you.
Yep, it's all about the know, like, and trust factor. And so, Nancy, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you? And I know you do coaching via Zoom, so essentially you people can do coaching in your PJs with Nancy, and if she wants to do that. And so
works for me.
People book a appointment with you if they want to.
They would go to my website, Nancy, Nancy, Ganzekaufer, which is my last name. So it's NancyGanzekau, F as in Frank, ER, NancyGanzekaufer.com. And on the top right hand of the website, when they first hit it, there's 3 buttons depending on what they do. They can click on one of them and they can sign up for a reduced cost strategy session with me. And in one 50-minute session, you'd be surprised how much I can move somebody and give them a strategy for moving forward where they start to immediately make more money with what they are already doing.
Yep. Well, I hope I get the next couple of weeks, you guys, is going to be pretty wild in my life, but all good. All good.
Well, that's good.
Dying. I'm not. It's things are shifting in my life for the better, and I just have to figure out something having to do with money. I mentioned it. I have to take a day off, some podcasting, which I'm sad about, either this Wednesday or the 19th of April, because we have lawyers coming to this house to work with me on my trust fund, and my dad, of course. And so I am super sad that I don't get to play with you guys on either Wednesday or the 19th of April, but you guys all record an episode and put it up, and so you guys get to hear me on either April 19th or Wednesday the 4th. I'll make it a special episode, and we may do a special episode about having a trust fund and doing all that good stuff, because I know a lot of my listeners who are disabled may have to ask, do I have a trust fund, or do I, what are we doing here? And I can guide you through steps, because I've been there myself and I'm going through it, and so I'm happy to share that knowledge on this podcast if it comes down to it, because I know you guys like my story, and particularly like my money story now. And so I hope
sounds like a good
that
episode.
I get to work. Well, it's going to be a wonderful episode once I get through the sludge of it. And so, I hope I get to work with Nancy after I get to the sludge of this trust fund, because I want to work with Nancy. I want to be a better coach myself now that I've declared that I'm actually going to be a coach and a fashion journalist and slowly step away from teaching. And I want to be a better coach myself and learn from that. Now, Nancy, I know you have a couple of questions for me that you want to ask me.
I do. So when you become a coach, what do you hope, if you were to name what type of coach you would be, what would it be?
Man, Nancy, geez, you threw me for a good hole. When I become a coach, what would I be? I would be a coach for disabled players. That's what I would be, a coach for disabled players. Not for the average player, disabled. Thank you very much, because I believe that we need more disabled voices in writing.
100%. So you would be a coach, a writing coach for disabled
A writing
writers.
coach for disabled players.
I like that, because you could do so much in the life coaching area too, but when you're coaching somebody on their writing and something comes up in their personal life, you would be so knowledgeable about that as well.
Yeah, and that's why I'm open and honest about my trust fund. I mean, I mentioned it way back in 2010. I mentioned that my grandfather founded Caterpillar Tractors both in Canada, Toronto, Canada, and the Bahamas. He founded Caterpillar Tractors, and so you guys know my history, and this is where I'm getting my trust fund from. Where when he founded his franchises of that company, I didn't know it was going to impact my life in a specific way. I just thought it was cool that my legacy was Caterpillar Tractors, because those of you who are not living on the box actually know what Caterpillar Tractors is. And so I just thought, oh, this is cool that my legacy is Caterpillar Tractors. I didn't realize Caterpillar Tractors was going to be impacting my life in a significant way, and in a good way at that. I mean, this trust fund is going to keep me going for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I am super happy. I just have to. It's scary. It scared me when I found out that lawyers are coming to my house, and it's scary when you have the finances to do it, and it's also scary when your family doesn't. They hint at it, but then when they actually tell you, that's scary. But I'll do this with grace and style, as I always do, and then I'll wait my computer and book an appointment with Nancy so we can get this coaching journey started, because I want to be a coach. I mean, being a teacher has always been my calling, and coaching is similar to teaching.
100%. Wynn, is there one thing you want to do with the money that's on the fun spectrum?
On the fun spectrum?
Because I know you have, I'm sure, a ton of expensive.
F-U-N, fun.
Fun.
F-U-N spectrum. Nancy, I would love to actually go back to my children's hospital, and then I'm going to actually inspire the kids. So that would be fun to me, to go back to my children's hospital and inspire the kids. That's going to be something, and maybe make a small gift in honor of Children's Hospital, because I'm a Children's Hospital baby, and that's all I want to do. And I thank you for saying that on the fun spectrum. She said on the fun spectrum, you guys. So I want to thank Nancy for coming on and sharing her story with us, and of course Nancy's information will all be in the show notes. And I will catch you guys later. As I said, this podcast will be coming out on Tuesday when I get it edited and when all my stuff gets organized to get it edited. And so later on this afternoon, that's what I'll be editing. I'll be editing podcasts all this afternoon, and then I'll be sending them off to the appropriate places, and you guys will hear it Tuesday morning. And so thanks, you guys. Bye.
The host has joined the conference.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, how are you? We're good.
Good. We're good. I presume I'm speaking to Haley.
Yes.
Yes? And who's your partner in crime today?
I'm over here.
Yeah, he's right beside me.
Your partner in crime have a name?
It's Albert.
Elvin. Okay. I heard you earlier. Sorry about that. I was actually doing a podcast on with another person when Elvin, you chimed in. So you got to listen to part of my podcast, which is always a good thing. So, okay, how are we going to do this? Haley, do you want to let Elvin speak first, or do you want to speak first, or how are we going to do this?
I think he wants me to do most of the talking.
Okay.
He's a goober.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Women power. That's fine.
Right.
I like women in power. I like. So we will, and I'll explain to my fans that they get 2 for the price of 1. And so we're going to talk about books and your book and everything else.
That sounds good.
That sounds great. Let's do this.
All right.